Hi there, welcome to another episode of Q&A. My name is Daphne Walbridge, and today we have a very special guest. My friend Brie Mathers from Love the Skin You're In is here today, and she just finished giving a fabulous boys talk to the boys from our local high school, and I asked her if she wanted to share a few words with us in this short interview. So thank you, Brie, for being here.
Thank you for interviewing me.
So you've been talking to girls for, quite a while. You've spoken to, I believe, over 100,000 girls across the world, Europe, the States, and Canada. And now, and you're talking about, the importance of, the positive body image and how social media and the media is painting this picture of the perfect woman and how that's detrimental to our young girls. Mm-hmm. And now you're addressing this issue towards the boys, their brothers, and also this man-up philosophy, which is also detrimental to their well-being. Can you speak to us a little bit about how you've experienced this when you're presenting, in front of the boys, and how they're reacting and what their struggles or pain points are?
Yeah. Well, it's always really interesting addressing a field of young men. I was intimidated to do it when I first started because I thought, why are they going to listen to me talking about toxic masculinity and social construction of gender? And then as I went along, I realized that actually it was good that it was me that was having these conversations with them, because what I was able to help them connect with was their common and empathic humanity, right? The thing that they need to be connected to in order to feel their wholeness as human beings. And so it's very much a message about what it would be to draw them out of the man box, right? Which basically has its sort of straitjacket gender roles and emotionally policing of one another and all of these limitations, and sort of set their hearts free from the shackles of culture and, basically be able to breathe. And so I really enjoy the evolution that happens in the guys' talks, because as we saw today, when the guys first come into the room, they're armored, they are kind of putting on a bit of a show for one another because they've, bought in hook, line, and sinker to what the domination system of power is teaching them about masculinity and manhood.
Right.
But then I find that as the presentation evolves, there's this softening and this opening that happens in the room, and by the time they leave the room, there's this feeling of an exhale.
Right, and we saw that with the little memos and the insights they wrote down on the piece of paper, how they really opened up, and you felt that your message resonated with them, which was really nice to see, because it was a stepping stone for them, I think.
I think so too.
So that was great. Now, a few weeks ago, I attended a conference, a women's leadership conference, and they really talked about unconscious bias, which is basically, how we're brought up as children. We were exposed to literature or media, and that's kind of brainwashes or creates a certain mindset where we see, okay, men need to do this and women need to do this, and it creates a barrier for us all, because we're kind of stuck in this mindset that's embedded in us because of this unconscious bias. Do you have a recommendation for parents who may be watching and who have young children, boy or girl, and they want to curb this unconscious bias so their children can see women do anything and men do anything and live together in harmony without having these barriers?
Yeah.
What one piece of advice? I don't know if...
Well, I have a couple of resource-based suggestions.
Perfect.
So one is the Representation Project, and they're out of San Francisco. For the parents to themselves watch the movie Misrepresentation and the movie The Mask You Live In, both of them documentaries that look at social construction of femininity and masculinity in America, but in North America and the world largely. Because they provide a powerful commentary. So the first and most important thing that I think that parents can do is educate themselves.
Right, yes.
And then the other resource is the Center for Partnership Studies.
Okay.
And so Rianne Eisler, who's also my mentor, she did a study on 89 different nations around the world, and what she was looking at was basically the way that when more women are elected into parliamentary seats, legislation changes and more caregiving practices come into come into being. Excuse me. So you have legislation that is good for men and women and children and the planet.
Right.
And so it's really the future of our world depends on women being willing to step into these leadership positions and really re-envisioning themselves as leaders of a softer world. So they can, if they go to rhianneisler.com, that's a good place to start.
Okay, wonderful. So 2 great resources there. Awesome. I'll post them in the video so you can check them out. And lastly, what words of advice or just last thoughts would you like to leave us with today? Because you've shared a lot of great empowering messages today with our youth, and just a small glimpse, maybe give our audience a small glimpse of what you shared today with our boys.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think that what's something that's really important to recognize in these conversations is that it's a system of power that we're fighting. And there are 2 possible models for us moving forward. One of them is the domination system, which you see is kind of alive and well in the United States government right now in particular. Right? That's a great example of that. And it is sort of characterized by authoritarian power and control and top-down control and 50% of humanity basically, overpowering the other 50% of humanity, which is women and children. And the other option for a model is a partnership-based model, which I spoke to the boys about today. It's a model that's based in collaboration, empathy, reciprocity, mutuality. And in this model, men and women share leadership. And so it's basically a partnership and collaboration, and this is the sort of social order that Brie Mathers came up with, that we really need to make that shift away from domination systems to partnership-based systems. So it's not, that boys always think, oh, we're going to get the feminist talk now, and even though it is a feminist talk, really the conversation is about how are we using power, right? And how do we need to redefine power? And if we do happen to be in physical forms that have that pre-existing privilege in them, how do we use that privilege to change the systems of power, to subvert the systems of power, and to rewrite a whole new narrative that can basically free us all, from an ancient cultural system that isn't working.
Exactly. Where again, I think the unconscious bias kind of seeps in. So by tearing that down. So thank you so much, Brie.
You're so welcome.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please, let's keep the conversation going. Brie and I would love to hear from you. Post a comment in the comment box below, and let's just keep up the great dialogue. This is a very important topic, and one that's only going to get better and better as we move forward on this journey. So take care and bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.